From arrests to bullying, superstardom didn't come without its challenges for YouTube personality SSSniperWolf. SSSniperWolf, who was born Aliyah Shaless, has a fascinating tale about her first console. But she might not be the content creator she is today without a bit of adolescent anger. According to her, she received her first console when she was only 8. Her father bought her a PlayStation 1 because he wanted her and her brother to stop fighting. The father hoped the console would prevent them from bickering, and it worked until it didn't. SSniperWolf and her brother adapted their fights around the console. Whenever the siblings played on the PS1, she was always player 1 and got to use official Sony controllers. Her brother, meanwhile, was always player 2 and had to make do with third-party controllers. This wasn't the only time SSniperWolf's fighting got her a console, though. Another potentially worse issue happened when she was in school. One day, a fellow student called her ugly and poor. So she responded by threatening to beat him up. SSniperWolf got in trouble, but the other student didn't, which left her in a slump. Her mother let her stay home the next day to feel better, aiding the healing process by taking her out to buy a PlayStation 2. Thanks to these consoles, SSniperWolf got to play many games that would shape her future. Titles such as Kingdom Hearts and Metal Gear Solid remain her favorites to this day. Long before SSniperWolf started her own merch line, and even before her YouTube career, she held a successful side gig selling action figures. During middle school, she started buying toys, such as Jack Sparrow action figures, for dirt cheap and selling them on eBay. The resold figures were purchased pretty quickly, earning her a quick buck. Her parents were pleased with her success. But you know what they say, success is a double-edged sword. As SSniperWolf made more money through her resale gig, her web of resources grew, as did her wallet. Eventually, she was able to buy products in bulk and deal in high-end designer items. She was apparently so successful that she surpassed her parents' earnings, and she continued this business to fund her way through college. Unfortunately, when SSniperWolf started making a profit, her father decided to take advantage of her good fortune and seized her earnings to help pay bills. At first, she didn't mind, but eventually this resulted in some upsetting decisions on her father's part. When she was 17 or 18, her dad quit his job, which left her the sole member of her family with any significant income. According to SSniperWolf, her father also took advantage of her savings and has since disowned her. She eventually traded freelance reselling for retail work, but she had the unfortunate luck of working for a nightmare boss. He didn't pay her enough to put up with his constant complaining, so she quit.
This stressed me out so much. It's not supposed to be stressful.
While SSniperWolf currently lives in the US, she was born in England, so most people would probably expect English to be her first language. That assumption couldn't be further from the truth. Her parents hopped around the map when they were younger. They learned many languages, including Turkish, French, and most importantly, Arabic. Her parents initially spoke Arabic to SSniperWolf and her brothers, which made it her first language for a time. In fact, she didn't actually learn to speak English before attending school. Unfortunately, this upbringing created a ton of problems for her, as she was bullied for the crime of simply knowing Arabic. And sadly, this kind of misguided bullying only escalated post 9/11. SSniperWolf's history with Arabic isn't all made of bad memories, though. In fact, fans can thank this language for her online handle. The name is lifted from the character SSniperWolf from Metal Gear Solid. SSniperWolf's in-game background is that she's an Iraqi national of Kurdish descent. In other words, she's Arabic. Stories about streamers and celebrities with messy and dramatic breakups are a dime a dozen. However, SSniperWolf's relationship with Evan Sausage is a bit more complicated because it didn't result in drama, which ironically caused a different kind of drama. In 2013, SSniperWolf started her YouTube career. Since she was a big gamer, she began by recording Call of Duty matches and uploading the results. According to her, a fan started messaging her several months later, praising her videos and their shared interest in Metal Gear Solid. They talked for a bit and later met at Comic-Con, dressed as Metal Gear characters no less. This fan was none other than Evan Sausage, and they eventually started dating. SSniperWolf moved in with Sausage, and she brought her dog along too. However, this happy period didn't last. They broke up in 2016, but neither wanted to move out of the house. After tempers calmed down, SSniperWolf and Sausage decided to live together under the same roof. Not as a couple, but just regular friends. Sausage also continued to help SSniperWolf record her videos when she needed the extra assistance. SSniperWolf believes her relationship with Sausage actually improved after they abandoned their romantic feelings, but her fanbase did not agree. Many of her viewers seem to be under the impression that all ex-lovers must hate each other after a breakup, and they accused SSniperWolf of lying. She and Sausage continued to live together, but in 2023, she put the final pin in their relationship.
I'd rather nail my tongue down.
In 2016, SSniperWolf and Sausage got into a fight. According to her, Sausage's phone was the catalyst. He had changed his phone's wallpaper to some random woman, and she flipped out. She started screaming, eventually taking the argument outside. The neighbors heard and called the police. Initially, SSniperWolf didn't want to talk to the cops and even tried to walk away. But according to her story, they blocked her and forced her to answer their questions. Even though nothing happened between her and Sausage beyond some screaming, the cops still put them in custody. In SniperWolf's words, Arizona has a law that if two people fight in a public place, both are taken into custody. But this screaming fit wasn't the first time she had a run-in with the law. In 2013, she was shopping at the mall when a stranger grabbed her purse, and she fought back. Unfortunately, the stranger wasn't even a thief. He was an undercover cop who thought SniperWolf had shoplifted. So technically, she had just assaulted an officer. She was arrested, and while she was let out on bail, she had to hire a lawyer to fight the assault charge. SniperWolf would rather forget this chapter of her life, which is why she rarely talks about it and has deleted all associated videos. Many streamers tell tales of how they realized college wasn't for them and either dropped or flunked out. SniperWolf has a similar story, except hers began much earlier. According to the YouTuber, high school was a drag. She explained that few people paid attention to her, and she occasionally found herself in fights. Her life, however, improved when she transferred schools, and she even made some new friends. But her biggest school-related problems didn't crop up until college. SniperWolf thought it would be a good idea to graduate high school early so she could start college early. This decision overloaded her with homework, however, and when she finally graduated, she faced another problem. Should she study to be a pharmacist like her mother wanted, or become a nurse? SniperWolf couldn't decide, so she took classes for both. To add to the stress, she attended a community college, where she claims the teachers were terrible. She eventually transferred to another school and decided to repeat history by piling on courses to graduate early. After 1 year, SniperWolf was sick of the prerequisite chemistry classes. She asked herself if she really wanted the life of a pharmacist. The answer was ultimately no, so she switched to nursing. But that didn't last either. After SniperWolf was exhausted by college, she made a deal with her mother. If she took a year off from school and could earn more money than she would as a nurse or pharmacist, she could quit college outright. Even though SniperWolf hadn't discovered YouTube yet, she indeed earned enough money to justify dropping out.
Okay, I had enough of this stuff. That's it for today.
SniperWolf has revealed that a large number of her viewers have asked to see her make more adult-oriented entertainment. For a time, some people thought she was going to cave into these requests because of a misunderstood tweet. In 2016, SniperWolf contacted a well-known adult website via Twitter and said she wanted to discuss some important matters. Many viewers saw the message and assumed it meant she wanted to make a racy film of some kind and was reaching out. According to SniperWolf, however, she didn't want to add to the site's library at all. In fact, she wanted to take some videos down. The site in question has no shortage of racy content, including many videos re-uploaded without the initial creator's knowledge or consent. This includes one model named Kalita, who bears a passing resemblance to SniperWolf. Some of the adult site's account holders re-uploaded Kalita's videos and relabeled them as SniperWolf's name, which started rumors that the YouTube personality was moonlighting in that industry. SniperWolf has said she has nothing against Kalita, and she only asked the site to delete the re-uploaded videos in order to put an end to the rumors about herself. She stressed that she has never been and never will be in an adult film. As SniperWolf argued, she isn't even comfortable going out in public in a swimsuit, so why would she be comfortable wearing less on camera? Regular doctor visits are crucial for maintaining a healthy body. Gamers need to be especially mindful of their health, given the injuries that can result from repetitive motions and poor posture. SniperWolf was lucky to have never suffered from any serious issues when she was a Let's Play streamer, especially since she never had a checkup during much of that period. Why? When she was 9 years old, SniperWolf had thyroid problems and lost a substantial amount of weight, so she needed to see a doctor weekly. During one of these visits, a physician told her to take off her clothes in front of her mother, which SniperWolf says was for no reason. The experience scarred her and instilled a fear of doctors. However, she didn't truly boycott doctors until she was 13, when she was diagnosed with celiac disease and told she couldn't eat any gluten. From that point forward, she didn't want to see doctors ever again. SniperWolf's fear was so baked into her psyche that she didn't even want to see school doctors. This boycott lasted around 10 years until she was sick in 2016 for 3 days straight. She had a fever and was so out of it due to the chills and pain that she forgot her shoes at home when she finally drove to the doctor's office. More and more streamers are being inserted into video games. Plenty of streamers also voice video game characters, while a number of famous content creators have their own in-game skins. SniperWolf is not one of these streamers, but she has the next best thing, a character based off her in a game. In 2016, she announced she collaborated with the mobile game DragonSoul to create the collectible hero Spirit Wolf. SniperWolf even participated in a cosplay photo shoot to promote the character. This collaboration put her in a fairly exclusive club. Other notable celebrities to guest star in games include Ariana Grande and Katy Perry. Admittedly, those pop stars received higher profile cameos in Final Fantasy Brave Exvius, but SniperWolf probably wouldn't turn down any opportunity to claim she is in the same company. Unfortunately, SniperWolf's collaboration is no longer available. DragonSoul shut down on May 8, 2019, taking Spirit Wolf with it. Although SniperWolf still has a dedicated merch store, gamers can no longer purchase and command a digital doppelganger in video game battles.